move them forward to the next release.
Yeah.
I don't even know if we should move them forward.
And the reason I'm asking is because we're kind of going back to doing this blocker thing in Mesa, and I'm kind of seeing how it's used sensibly might provide us some guidance.
I mean, when I did release blockers, I would have a list, and there would be 30 on there, and then there's the 20 top. And the next 10 would move to the next server release, and a lot of them would keep sticking because, it's still a taste judgment at the end of the day. But I think it is still important to make a conscious effort to take bugs off of the blocker list.
That aren't actually blockers.
Right. And that never should be.
Right.
And so I think that when we release 110, 19, everything that was on the 19 list that didn't get closed should go on the 110 list, even if they're
Not necessarily. They should be reviewed. Should this actually be blocking our release? Should we stop? Would it be better for 110 not to ship until this got fixed?
Right. And how does that particular discussion, how does that happen?
well, again, when I was doing this, it was pretty much my level of taste was whether or not I got fixed for a release. And
I mean, the discussion about do we go ahead and keep blocking those wait for some fixes?
Yeah, well, that's what we're not doing. Except unless there was an egregious security regression, I wouldn't hold the release for any blocker.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really more of a prioritization scheme than we're going to halt the release.
Yeah.
More like P0 plus or something like that.
Sure.
Then they're not blocking the release.
It's more like a release.
It's called a track.
A release tracker.
It's more like a tracker bar than a blocker bar.
This
Yeah.
whole sounds more easily.
Yeah. I think the blocker tracker is what we call blockers.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Oh, it wouldn't be fundamentally treating, it would be different. We're just giving a better name.
Yeah, more accurate. Yeah. Yeah, because unless there's a serious security regression, you know.
Yeah, because we have seen a lot of.
Well, we have enough security holes. We don't, you know, it's hard to say that we have new security holes. We have plenty of old ones.
At the moment, we're very still with plenty of blocker bars and current blocker bars for the last 30 years. This is like, look, nothing in that code changed. Nobody cared that it wasn't used in the last 3 years.
Right.
So it's really more tracking.
But if you are interested in helping the release, that's a good place to go look for bugs that are of particular interest in a particular release. So it would be nice to have all those fixed every release, but it's they're either trivial or nearly impossible. Those are the two classes of bugs in the house.
Does anyone have any comments on the patch review submission? Any problems with it?
I have a comment, but I am also guilty about what I'm going to say. That we, currently, I think we lack a process to pull back patches from various distributions or other systems like OpenBSD. I have a full batch of patches, and unfortunately, for the last releases, the OpenBSD release timing and the XOR release timing were too different, and so I could never merge the stuff in time for the next X release because I was busy with something else on the OpenBSD side. And then on OpenBSD release time, I realized, wow, I still have this huge queue of
patches,
of stuff that I never submitted. And I think even if you look at the distribution in Red Hat, in Ubuntu and so on, they all have their own sets of patches. Some of them are interesting. Some of them seems to me to be completely useless, but are just carried on from release to release just because no one takes time to actually evaluate.
I've done a few release updates.
quite
I'm not quite sure what half of the patches do.
Most of that's my fault. I
Yes,
apologize.
But this is quite interesting. About 5 years ago, when we were going modular, 5-6 years ago, this was the big problem with going modular, that no vendor would still be maintaining their own patches.
I think that I do get a lot of a pretty large merge in every release where I do have, I need to write 5 patches and 5 of them get in. They usually don't end up in the same format. Most of the patches that we're currently carrying in Fedora and RHEL are, well, XRHEL, are things that had to get done for one reason or another, but either aren't complete solutions, and so aren't things that we can really upstream yet, or that are things that would necessarily have to be done in a more portable way. A couple things that spring to mind are the CAM integration, which we basically dropped on the floor since modularization, and detecting when SSH forwarded clients are using MIT shared memory. You can't do that in a portable way because POSIX isn't that good. So in order to actually merge them, I would have to care enough about porting them to Solaris and OpenBSD. And I don't have time to do that for a RHEL release. But I do have time to do that for upstream releases. So I'll try to like merge things in every once in a while. Post a tree that says this is what we've been carrying. And most of them for the last release got dropped, but that was my fault and the Anarchy dying fault. But I'm doing the same thing now. I've got a fairly large queue for RHEL 6. These are things that should go upstream because I don't want to have to carry them forever. But I do need to.
Right.
But it's a lot more portability.
Are most of your patches portability patches for OpenBSD, or is it actually functional changes at this point?
But there is one huge functional change, is the privilege separation code, and it's the same problem as Adam's with some Red Hat specific stuff, is that I did it for OpenBSD, but there are pieces missing to support Linux or Solaris. Right. And I promised myself 5 years ago when I first wrote this code that I would do it, and well.
Right. Well, I think for privilege separation, obviously the primary goal is to do the privilege separation across the kernel battery at this point of the X server. But there's a separate. Yeah. But I mean, there are a whole bunch of making sure that I don't know how we work with the distribution maintainer. OpenBSD and Fedora are good cases because they're actually tracking the master fairly closely, unlike Debian, which is 2 years behind. Debian has a huge pile of patches on 1.7 right now because that's what they're going to be shipping in their next stable release.
So you essentially have
pushing charities to the 1.7.
Yep. Yeah, because basically, does anybody else ship 1.7 at this point in their?
And older.
Well, no. Are you currently planning on doing future OS releases based on 1.7?
Probably service.
Unknown. We don't know what we will do for SP2 or C11 SP2.
Sure.
We just don't know yet.
But like new SLES releases will not be 1.7.
No, definitely not.
Right.
Of course. They will get 1.9, 2.0, whatever, so we'll be answer.
Yeah.
RHEL 6 is the same way. We're on 1.77 at the moment, and we're not really sure we're introducing it yet.
Yeah.
Either way, I would like to at least know that any patch that I'm shipping, if I have it, currently is a patch in RHEL in 6.0, I want it to get upstream so that I know it's has had somebody else looking at it.
Yep.
And if I'm going to change to 1.8 or 1.9, I would rather see it merged that way so that I can drop it from my source RPM. So, I mean, you are always going to maintain some delta, but the delta that I'm carrying now is way better than it was in SQL. So that's all you're going to care about.
Yeah, that's good, as long as we're moving in the right direction. So it sounds like there's a bunch of OpenBSD stuff that will be nice for merge. And certainly privilege separation is a big, I'm sure it's a fairly big patch.
No, it's not that
It's
big.
not really. So one of the things that I could talk about privilege stuff later.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it now, but I think that Chris says the right way to go.
Well, yeah. Any case. Any other questions or concerns about the development process? I think we're almost back on schedule.
The main one I have is that I feel like this is entirely selfish, but I feel like the only person who reviews anything on JSP. And so it's difficult for me to get changes in. And I feel like there needs to be more people taking an active code review role. Because like I try, Peter tries, Steve tries. And there's not a whole lot besides that. I mean, for XLibs there is, but for anybody trying to look at like anything in the Dix.
And I think that does reflect a lot of the reality of the complexity of the code that we're changing.
Most of the really difficult patches, like the ones where I spent 3 4 hours just writing around the issues. See them in the release for 2 weeks and repeat fixes and screams and
And I know Jamie did a huge pilot review for the
Yeah.
1.9 series, which was greatly appreciated.
Yeah.
So we are training new maintainers to help review patches.
Yeah, that's really the only
We
issue.
need to also, I think a lot, especially the newer users are probably scared of putting a reviewed by art, just in case someone else.
Yeah,
comes
if you
and
put a
says-
reviewed by tag on,
Yeah.
I know everybody who reviews patches.
Yeah.
And so when I see somebody who's reviewing a patch in an area they're not that comfortable with, I'm very appreciative. And I take the review and the reviewer and the author, all of those things into consideration when I decide whether a patch looks like it's ready for version. So yeah, review patches that you aren't comfortable with, review them for, coding style, review them for comment clarity. Heck, if the comments don't let you understand the code, you should say that. This code still remains unclear to me. Can you make the comments describe what's going on better here? That kind of review would be great.
The only reason I really bring that up is because from 1.6.1, like in successive releases, since we basically started the review process, the velocity is going down in terms of raw number of changes, and there's some argument that better changes are going in, so you need to do fewer effective reverts. But I think that we still end up with a lower raw rate, with a lower code rate of change. I think that things are slower to learn.
The statistics in that case are very good skewed, because 1.5 to 1.7 with all the EP exchanges, and it was 4 years of code going into one release, 4 years of coding, so that you can't take that particular window as a baseline, because, as I said, 4 years going into one release.
And we looked at the Xserver 5 years ago and said, where do we need to be? And there's not a huge amount of additional work that we have in the Xserver to improve the Linux desktop or the OpenBSD desktop, to improve our X desktop at this point. The Xserver is in pretty good. It does what it does.
It certainly, I feel much more comfortable maintaining the Rel 6 X server than the Rel 5 X server, which is 1.1-ish. Plus,
It's
any one of you that wants to go look at the source for that, feel free. It's not my finest work, but but I mean, I feel like we're sort of converging on where we want to be. So maybe I'm overstating the case, but it does.
It is definitely a concern that we need to monitor. Is whether our review process is stifling change.
Yeah. We made it harder intentionally, and I think it's been probably positive. But
Yep.
did we do it right?
I think for me, the installation of patchwork was a big win because it helps me remember which of my patches have been dropped. But looking at if I don't filter it to only the patches I submitted, then there's this giant pile of all these different patches, and I have no idea what state they're actually in. Many of them were already merged. If more people were actually using patchwork, I think it would be a lot more useful.
It's a huge maintenance pain that you have to go and manually update it and stuff is stuff merged.
Yeah. I was hoping that I installed patchwork. I didn't make it work. Paula made it work. I was hoping that by using it, it would give people the opportunity to start using it and actively monitor when their changes get in. But if nobody does that, then that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, it can be useful for each developer independently.
Yeah.
But as an overall, I can't use it right now. Go look at patchwork and see what I have not covered. So I'm currently using my own mail queue, and I mark patches that I have merged in independently, one at a time.
Talking back things, is it like a pull request with thank you pull?
I can do that.
Because I tried to, at least all the ones on there, to try to reply, there's a bit of a sync to be honest, forget about that.
I usually push pretty quickly, so it should be pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having a reply on the mailing list does help a lot in general.
Yeah,
Okay.
because others know that